First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo is a clinical psychologist, and this is what we've learned. More than 6 in 10 employees say, that's 60% for those that don't want to do the math. Or
Linda, as
I could be Captain Obvious here. They deal with work-related anxiety daily, according to Monster polling. 67% said the Sunday scaries, the most recent term for the anticipatory dread, felt as the weekend winds down, and they become actually depressed that they have to go back to work on Monday, so depressed that it ruins their Sunday.
Yeah.
How does this happen? Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So this is real, right? As people are getting back to work.
Yes. And the sad thing is, theoretically, the weekend is supposed to be the time when you decompress, right? When you rejuvenate, when you just, with your mind and your body, you get back to being who you want to be so that when you start the work week, you are at your best. And yet with these Sunday scaries, people are feeling the dread, the anticipatory dread, the anxiety, and so it's really hindering their weekend.
That's why I always say if you could take an extra day, like take Monday, you do that. But the problem is that you feel good on Sunday, but on Monday you get the Monday dreads or whatever we want to call them.
The Monday moans, I've heard it called. Yeah. So really, it's not so much about having another day. It's all about what are you going to do on that weekend, during that weekend, to help you rejuvenate, to help you reduce your stress, to have some fun so that you are at your best on Monday.
They say a lot of the people who have the Sunday scaries or whatever they call it now is because they don't like their job. I mean, that's an alternative too. I mean, if you don't like your job, get a new one. There's plenty out there. I mean, some people don't even experience the Sunday scaries because they're still living on that unemployment.
That's true.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And here, there is a pattern, though, of people. Sometimes when people will change their jobs, like, okay, this is great, and that's wonderful. It's the people who go from job to job to job who are miserable at each job. It may not be the job issue, right? It may be something within you that you want to address. Yeah, but that's not a judgment, but an empowerment to say you can change yourself.
I will say that I do like my job. I mean, I love what I do. However, come Sunday night, I am not looking forward to that alarm going off at 4:30.
No.
I dread the alarm going off.
Right. So yours is more the lack of sleep, perhaps.
Yeah, that might be it. That may very well be it. Yeah.
You know what's funny also is you can't say that to an employer, or you can't say that to an employee. Like, I know you think everything stinks here, but maybe it's you. And I'm just trying to empower you. That's a good example. I'm just trying to empower you for your future position because you'll get sued for being not sensitive to the employee's needs.
How do you, Dr. Lombardo? How do you suggest people deal with this if they're experiencing it?
Right, so I have the 5 S's to help you with the Sunday scaries. First one, during the weekend, self-care. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. That can include things like exercise, going for a walk, getting outside. Second S is socialize. We know from the research that loneliness is as detrimental to our health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. So being with loved ones, friends, and family is going to be really important. Okay. The next S is serve others. We know that when we give to others, whether it's volunteering or mentoring or even just holding the door open for someone, that helps us be happier. Fourth S is sleep, and especially if that alarm clock goes off at 4:30, make sure you get to bed at a reasonable time so you can get the sleep that you need. And then the fifth S is stay away from work during the weekend. Stop checking the emails. Stop stressing out about that meeting that's coming up and really focus and be present on your weekend.
All right. Come on, you got a 2 weeks vacation, or a week-long vacation coming up. That's the other part, is after that week-long vacation, you get to that Sunday night before you got to go back on Monday. There's always a lot of stress with that, but you got to follow those S's. Is that what it was? S's?
S's, yes.
Yeah, and keep yourself mentally healthy and physically healthy.
Right.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, Dr. Lombardo, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Sure.
Dr. Elizabeth Lombardo. Do you believe that's true? I mean, why does everything have to have a title? Everything's got to have a title.
Sunday Scaries.
Yeah, it's like, all right, so I don't feel like going in tomorrow. I'm dreading it. Whatever.
I just learned
you gotta
of
give
the
it a
Sunday
title.
Scaries at school. However, at school,
have you heard of the actual title?
only because one of my friends, I was like,
Yeah.
I just feel horrible today. And she's like, you've got the Sunday Scaries. Or she was like, be careful today. You're going to get the Sunday Scaries. And I was like, you have an issue. Why are we calling it the Sunday Scaries?
You have an
but
issue.
At college, it's more so like just like a feeling of like dread. Like it's got nothing to do with Monday. It's just like a weird purgatory feeling that you get.
Well, especially in COVID.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is true.
you guys were locked in. You were in a hotel, for God's sake.
I had
You were
I had
in
a pretty
prison.
good gig.
Yeah.
The bachelor pad, my king size bed, my flat screen, my floor to ceiling windows. I have
You
no
had it
complaints.
pretty good, yeah.
So speaking of purgatory and the afterlife, who's not in either is Brian Doyle Murray. I was mistaken.
I
thought he
didn't know he
I
died.
thought he had passed away.
You could tell me anybody died, and I'd be like, yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's too
because
bad.
everybody's dying. They're dying left and right, especially in the last year. It's
I'm
like,
sorry, Mr. Doyle Murray.
you see how many people we lost this past year?
Well, and that conversation I think was prompted by my question of, so should we be calling him instead of Bill Murray? Is it Bill Doyle Murray? I mean, what is the Doyle Murray?
I don't know what it is.
Usually,
I don't know.
the hyphenated last name is for a woman, right?
Is
who
this an
wants
answer to
keep-
that, Angela? It is. Okay. Who is it, by the way?
This is Scott from Kirkland.
Hi, Scott in Kirkland. Good morning.
Kirkville.
We're going to get some
Kirkville.
answers.
Thank you, Kirkville.
Hello, Scott in
We need a
Kirkville,
new phone screener.
out of the Syracuse area.
I think we got the answer to why they call him Brian Doyle Murray.
Okay.
There was a second baseman for the New York Yankees in '78 that didn't play that much. His name was Brian Doyle, and he got thrust into the World Series. I remember the '78
that.
World Series.
Yep.
And he actually hit 400, and all of a sudden he was on Saturday Night Live, Bill Murray's brother. All of a sudden he started popping up Brian Doyle Murray, and I think that's the reason.
Okay, but I guess
Well,
my
what's
question.
the reason, though? Because his name is Brian.
That doesn't answer that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Brian Murray. Why the Doyle?
It's
Because that was the last name of the second baseman.
Okay, so
he just took on his Brian Doyle. I don't know if he looked like him or
Okay.
what. I don't know. I never seen. Don't remember how Brian Doyle looked, but they both were skinny, so I don't know.
Okay.
That's the reason why he did it. But that's how I remember. That's when his name started popping up, Brian Doyle.
Remember, I think you're right. I remember the old Supreme Court Justice Strom Thurmond Munson. Remember him?
Yeah, that's pretty good, Bill. Hey, listen, I heard you mentioned Jeff Toobin's back on CNN News now.
I did see that. We talked about that on Friday. Yeah.
I was thinking about that Squeal Like a Pig with him, and I was wondering if you can play a song dedicated to Toobin coming back on. It's the old Sam and Dave song, Hold On, I'm Coming.
Okay. All right. We'll say goodbye now, Scott. Thank you.
All right.
See you. Thank you, man. He had to go there.
So this is from Jeff in
Lordy.
Utica about Brian Doyle Murray. Has the same parents as Bill, but was part of the new SNL lineup after Bill left. Rumor has it he used his middle name with the hyphen because there was already a Brian Murray in SAG. So when you go to get your
Okay.
license or your
All right.
your union card,
okay.
What do you
half
say,
of that
Angelo?
is right. It was
Okay.
his grandmother's maiden name. It was a family
okay.
name. Doyle is a family
okay.
name.
I
Well,
see.
keep yelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's where, and Bill Murray didn't use that.
No.
Bill Murray just was Bill Murray. So
Nice line, by the way, Bill. That was
Strom
great.
Thurmond Munson.
Munson. Yes, that was awesome.
Because I just don't know that there's any right. It's not like, hey, I like the player, so I'm gonna add my name to it.
Yes.
Big Yankees fan. Okay, how many oceans are there? And don't say 11.
Do you want me to?
4.
Do you want me to say?
No, hold
Do you want
on.
me to spit out the correct answer?
You could. And Andrew just said 4,
Allegedly.
and that used
There's
to
a
be
fifth, right?
That used to be true.
Yeah, they've now found. I shouldn't say found. You'll explain
So
this,
what-
but now they're saying there are 5 oceans now,
Yeah.
5 named oceans.
So Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, Pacific were the 4 oceans in the world, and now we've added the
Monaski.
southern. We've added the Southern Ocean.
Oh,
Where's
and
that? Which one's that?
It's
considered?
the Antarctic is the 5th. It's the Southern Antarctic is the 5th ocean, and what they're saying is that it is significant and self-sustaining and has its own its own identity, if you will, its own features. So much so that it is worthy of being its own ocean.
Instead of being lumped in with another one.
Instead of being a part of whatever it was.
When did this decision get made? Is it
Friday at like 4:15? I think.
Yeah, before the weekend when all the stories.
I had the story on Thursday. I had it Friday morning, and so I think there were it's a group of scientists. This has been debated for quite some time.
Okay,
and the group of scientists just finally. And it might have been with National Geographic or U.S. Board on Geographic Names, as the body of water extending from the coast of Antarctica to the line of latitude at 60 degrees south. The boundaries of this ocean were proposed to the International Hydrographic Organization in 2000, and it didn't go then. So this has been going on for quite some time. However, not all countries agree on the proposed boundaries. So this has yet to be ratified by members of the IHO. The U.S. is a member of the IHO, represented by the NOS, Office of Coast Survey. There's a lot of titles in there, but they're saying that it now warrants, and the majority of science agrees it now warrants its own title as its own ocean.
And the name of it is Southern Ocean.
Southern Ocean. Yes, so it's you now have...
Is that like Eagles? It's not the Southern Ocean, it's just Southern Ocean?
Arctic, Atlantic, Indian, Pacific, and Southern.
Yes.
Now, there is one world ocean, only one world ocean, and that is entitled World Ocean. And that's all ocean waters is considered one. So if you were looking, Earth has ocean water, it's the world ocean. But then when you break it down, there are 5 different ones. Am I making any sense?
No, you're
That's
not.
probably because I didn't do well in science.
Well, how could you? I mean, did you circle on was it multiple choice? And then when they asked you how many oceans were there, did you circle?
I've gone.
It was 4.
I had 5. I'm going back to get credit.
I was going to say, I've been
I want my
lobbying.
record expunged.
I need an
I
upgrade
did a
here.
little better on my SATs than I thought I did.
I just went from over the weekend literally C+ to B-.
Yep.
How do you like me now?
What it is.
How do you like me now?